I'm Idiotech, and today I want to show you Runescape Legends. Now, if you've never played Runescape before, and I haven't, that actually doesn't matter for this game. This game is a CCG. If you've played Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering or something along those lines, you should have some idea of what to expect here. Now, in terms of all this stuff, it's virtually identical to Hearthstone, and so I'll go through that stuff later. What I want to do now is jump into a game and show you how the mechanics work, because that's what separates this game from literally every other CCG on the market. And I've been thoroughly enjoying it the past couple of days. I've sunk about 15 hours into this game so far, and I can see myself playing this long term. Okay, so I'm going to jump into a game versus the AI, just so I can talk slowly and explain things as we go. As you see here, I've beaten the game on bronze, silver, and gold. You earn packs for doing so. Again, very similar to Hearthstone, we have daily quests, all those kinds of things. If you have played Hearthstone, you should have some idea of what to expect in terms of the systems, in terms of progression, in terms of unlocks, pricing, that sort of stuff. Okay, let's jump in versus a silver. So I'm going to pick to fight this blacksmith. I'm going to play with my deck that I've created using Raptor. Now, the mechanics of this game, initially when I first started playing it, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Does this actually have any depth? And it turns out it does. Now, I do have some complaints regarding balance of certain character classes. I also have some complaints regarding the first and second turn, but I will get onto those as we go. Now, I am second, so this is a good opportunity to show you that. So, we get to Mulligan, which if you don't know, means throwing some of our cards away. Now, I'll explain as we go, don't worry, but for right now, I think we're pretty good, actually. These cards seem relatively fine for me, relatively good for what I'm trying to achieve. I'll explain each card as I play them. Now, as you can see, down here we have attack, this orange fire icon, that is our attack damage. We have gold, which is how much money we have health. Here is where armor goes, and here is where our weapons go, if we do get weapons during the game. Now, you can see on the board, I've got a character here, and she has a character here. The goal of the game, essentially, is to progress through this storybook, and it comes in the form of chapters. We have chapter 1 all the way through to chapter 5. We give our hero something to encounter along the way. That could be a card that does damage, a card that gives him gold, a card that gives him armor, but he has to defeat them in battle in order to obtain those bonuses. If he doesn't, he'll die or he'll take damage. And you can see the damage a card does here and the health a card has here. We also have these support cards, which we can pay gold to use, or in this case, we pay 0 gold, remove a weapon, and get 3 gold. So I'll just put some cards down and show you how this works. This first card I'm going to play first, and the reason for that is because it gives me an extra damage, which will make killing this creature that has 3 health a lot easier. So we're going to play him first, then I'm going to play this guy to get some gold, because he just gives me 3 gold and removes a weapon, and I don't currently have a weapon. Then I'm going to play this guy to get another 3 gold, and then I'm going to play this skeleton warrior to get another 3 gold. So that's the first turn. And as you can see, she attacks this card first. We can see what she's done, and then I get to attack this card, and I get to discard 1 random card, which is a negative, but I get an additional damage, which makes killing harder monsters later in the game a lot easier for me. You can also get weapons to modify that. As you can see here, she just got a 1 damage weapon that has 4 strikes. Okay, she just added +1/+1 to her weapon. Now, her mechanic as a character class is to build up weapon attack and then to attack you directly. Now, you may think, how am I going to do damage to my opponent here? How am I going to kill my opponent? Well, as you can see, she's already lost 27. She's already at 27 health. Now, as we go through each of these rounds, sometimes I'll get cards that allow me to do direct damage. You can get a card that allows you to directly strike your opponent. You can get cards that do damage. For instance, in this case, we have deal 4 damage to rival, and it also gives me 4 armor, but it costs me 3 gold. So you can win the game in one of 2 ways. You can either kill them during the storyboard phase, or you can wait until chapter 5 where the 2 heroes battle against each other. So unlike a game like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, where you're constantly going back and forth and predicting the next move, this game is about trying to build up your character to be as powerful as possible, so that if you don't kill them before you reach chapter 5, you can kill them in the final battle. And you can often predict what the other player is going to do. So if they're like buffing up a weapon and you have a card that removes weapons, you can wait until a point where you think they're just about to strike you with that weapon and take the weapon away from them. There's all sorts of things like that in the game which are very fun and interesting. You can also take gold away from certain players. You can do all sorts of tricks to try and screw with their game. The whole idea is for you to play sort of independently and build up your character and to mess with each other so that it doesn't go according to plan and that you get the advantage in the end game. So what I'm going to do here is I'm probably going to pay for this armor and this armor because my build is based around having armor, as you will see later. I'm going to kill this creature, lose 6 health and gain 8 armor. And then I'm probably just going to heal with this. Actually, it might be a good idea to draw cards. So I'll take 2 damage and draw cards. So that's what I'm going to do this turn. So she has gone with the remove weapon, add 3 gold. She's getting a lot of gold right now. And how you determine whether or not you're winning during each phase is to basically add up the health, the gold, and the attack damage. And that should give you some idea. So she has a 7-2 weapon right now. So if she decided to strike me right now, which she could very easily do, now she's got even more weapon damage. So now she's at 9-3. She could do some pretty serious damage to me right now if she has a strike opponent card, which she may do. And she does. Okay? So she does damage to me times 2, I think. Yep. So that took away all the armor I just built up. If I hadn't put that armor on my character right now, I might actually be dead. Okay, so I'm getting pretty low, and I don't have any armor left. And my whole build is centered around the idea of having lots of armor, and I use attacks that do damage based on how much armor I have. So I'm going to need to heal up. That's the first thing I'm going to need to do here. Now, I do have some gold, but I think it's about time to earn a little bit more. So I'm going to get some more gold. I'm going to heal up. I'm going to play both of these armor cards because I need armor to win this. Because currently my health is too low and I do damage. Well, primarily my deck is built around the idea of doing damage based on my current armor value. So as you can see, I hope you can see at least, that the game has a strategy to it that is not common. It's not something you see in every single TCG or collectible card game. This is something different, and to me that's exciting because we have magic jewels, we have Hearthstone, or Hearthstone. I know some people like to tell me I pronounce it incorrectly, but I'm just saying it how I want to say it, okay? We have Hex, we have a bunch of different card games on the market, and for the most part they're all the same. You know, there's slight tweaks and changes to the same system. This is an entirely different system, but with very familiar mechanics, and I've found it incredibly compelling so far. Now let's jump into the next turn. Okay, so here's my cannon. Now this is how I do damage in this game. Now if I had all the armor I should have had before she screwed me over, I could have done significant damage to her. It deals damage to the rival half. Let me try again. It deals damage to the rival equal to half of my armor. So if I have 20 armor, it does 10 damage. Now, at some points, I've actually managed to get up to 40 armor when they're around 20 health and just take them out, which is great. I'll go through some of the other characters later and tell you what they do as well. Okay, so this card is an example of direct damage. I kill this creature, it does 3 direct damage to my rival. I kill this creature, it does 2 direct damage to my rival and gives me 1 gold and 1 armor. So I think I'm going to have to play those right now because I don't really have enough armor to utilize this. I mean, I could use it and do 6 damage. If I used it straight away, I'd just do 6 damage. Actually, let's do that. Let's use it straight away, then let's deal 3 damage, then let's deal 2 damage, then let's deal 4 damage. So we're just doing a full-on damage turn. Try and burn some of her health away. Okay, she's killing that guy and getting 3 gold. We're doing 6 damage to her. So she's down to 19 now. Okay, this is bad. Again, so she's dealing damage to us based on a weapon attack times 2. Okay, we're doing 3 damage to her. Thankfully, this class is based around armor, otherwise I would very seriously be dead right now. Okay, deal 2 damage to rival, get some more armor. Hopefully I get another one of those cannon cards. Now, as you can see, we're on chapter 4. And this is likely going to go to the end game. So I want to show you that, because I do have a slight problem with this game in regards to its first and second turn mechanic. And I feel that going second in this game is a fundamental disadvantage. And while you can do some things to counter it, and you do get an extra card, I do not believe that they compensate you enough for going second, and I'll explain that when we get to the end. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to dump armor. Armor. So I survived till the end of the game. Deal 2 damage, right? That's all we can really do. Now, obviously, card advantage is a thing in this game. There are certain classes like the Wizard who wants to save up lots of cards because she does damage based on the number of cards in her hand or the number of spells in her hand. You know, this person we're playing against here, Linza, she is a weapon-based class who, for the most part, builds up weapons and strikes you. Okay, she's striking Rival, so that's the card I was talking about. So there you go. She just did a bunch of damage to me. Thankfully, I have armor. And that should be it after this next round here, where I fight him. Yeah, I didn't really even need to fight this guy. I just played the card for the sake of playing it. Okay, so I have more health and more armor. Now you'll see, we're taking turns back and forth, hitting each other. And the problem with this mechanic right here, what you're seeing, is even though I won, right? The problem with this mechanic is that the person who has the first turn in the game also attacks first during the ending phase of the game. Now, if you're both on equal health and armor and have equal damage, the person who goes first wins that situation automatically. That, to me, is entirely unreasonable and unfair in terms of balance. You know, if we are both equal at the end of the game, we should draw. But in this case, because someone always goes first, that's not the case. So that can be frustrating. You're fundamentally at a disadvantage, as you are in most card games, but they don't compensate you enough for that. They just give you one card. That's it. I think they should probably either give you a starting gold or they should give you a starting attack damage just to give you some kind of advantage over the other player. Because right now, to me, honestly, it seems that if you go second, you're just at a fundamental disadvantage. And yes, you can do things to counter it, and there are some tricks you can do at the end of the game with weapons to try and gimp their weapon and take it away from them, and they can't do anything to you. But it is a balance concern. I've seen a number of people complain about it now, and everyone on my Discord server who's played this game for a reasonable amount of time has a gripe with that system. So it would be great to see them address that. However, even though it has that issue, and it also has the other issue of not having a combat log, so you can't go back and see what people have played, which would be useful, honestly, because keeping track of all the cards is kind of difficult. Other than those two issues, it's a really enjoyable game for me. I've had a great time. I mean, I really have. I dumped 15 hours into this thing, and I plan to only play it for a couple of hours and bring you a video, so that should give you some indication of how much I've enjoyed it. I've also completed all of this, and all of this. I have played a decent amount of casual. I've played a decent amount of ranked. I'm now silver, so I've gone all the way up from bronze to silver. I earned a chest for that and a cool card back. It's basically Hearthstone. In every other way, that's what this is. It's ranked the same. You earn card backs, you earn packs. Casual is just casual, it's just for testing your stuff out. Solo is against the AI. Then we have Dungeoneering, which is a draft mode, which is virtually identical to Hearthstone as well. Then we have this section. Now this section will tell you basically the level of each of your heroes and where you've leveled them up to, what your next reward is. You can pick certain cosmetic items over here. So if you play a lot of smithing, if you build a lot of armor, or you play with weapons a lot, or you use magic a lot, you can unlock these different titles. They're just cosmetic, really, and then different kinds of badges. What else have we got? We've got leaderboards, we've got card backs. So, you know, it's very similar to Hearthstone. We also open packs in the same way. This is the shop. Now, pricing seems to be about $1.50 per pack. Obviously, the more packs you buy, the more of a discount you get for that. And they do this in the form of platinum, so you don't know exactly how much money you're spending right away. But, you know, this is a common thing. And you can earn copper, which is their equivalent of gold, and you spend that gold on packs, or you spend that gold unlocking Dungeoneering, which costs money, or it costs copper. So, basically, Hearthstone in every other way. We have the collection, we can get rid of cards that we've got multiple of, we can delete them, and get gems, which are used to craft more cards. So if I click on this one, I can craft this card. I'll show you that now. So it's the same process. It looks virtually identical to the way that Hearthstone did it. Now, I don't really have a problem with that, because for me, I felt incredibly familiar with the system immediately going in, and the only core difference was the gameplay itself. And that's what got me hooked. The gameplay in this game is something different. It's a breath of fresh air, something that isn't often done in, you know, TCGs and CCGs. Most of the time we get the same systems with slight tweaks here and there, you know. Hearthstone is virtually Magic the Gathering, but it has a constant mana flow. That's the game. It's nicely presented. As is this game, by the way, as I'm sure you saw while we were playing there. The graphics, while cartoony, look great, and the fact that you're sitting across the board from another player, I think that's cool as well. Now, before we end, I'll just quickly tell you about the different characters we have on offer. There aren't as many as in Hearthstone. I assume they will add more going forward. This is the mage. Her mechanic is based around the idea of having lots of cards and doing damage based on the number of cards in her hand. We have Raptor, who's based around the idea of building up tons of armor, as I showed you. We have Ozan, who is about gaining as much gold as possible. So he gets lots of gold bonuses, and he can buy some of the most expensive items in the game, which obviously help him to win. We have this girl, who's about getting weapons, as I showed you. And then we have this sort of vampire character, who's about life leeching and taking life from you and giving it to herself. So pretty basic concepts. You've probably encountered them a lot before in games like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering. But as a basis, 5 characters here works really well. Now, I will say as well that in Ranked, I don't seem to be seeing a lot of net decking. Now, I have looked up some decks for this, and there doesn't seem to be that much support for it, as it's not that much of a popular game, which to me is a huge benefit, because I don't like games like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering because of the net decking, because people just go online, look up a good deck, buy the deck, and then play it. I like the idea of building your own decks, doing something interesting, and this game at this point, given the fact that it's not as popular, doesn't have a huge community telling everyone exactly what the perfect metagame is. So that's a benefit to me, it might not be a benefit to you. But yeah, it's a really fun game, I've had a ton of fun playing this, and it's free, so if you do feel like checking it out, I suggest you do, you can find it on Steam. If you found this video helpful or useful in some way, please let me know in the comments below, and if you want to support my channel, please like, favorite, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.